Washington once again in the spotlight as a Seattle judge blocks the president's effort to end birthright citizenship.
And with this new ruling, a 14-day restraining order has now turned into a hold that will last until this lawsuit plays out in court. Fox 13's Alejandra Guzman has the story.
There were a few cheers and claps as Judge Kunauer signed the injunction. He made his position very clear. The U.S. Constitution is not something the government can play policy games with. If they want to change birthright citizenship, a fundamental constitutional right, then they have to amend the Constitution.
The U.S. Constitution was defended, where the rule of law was defended, and we reaffirmed what it means to be an American in this country.
Thursday's hearing, highly anticipated. Judge John Kunauer has put Trump's executive order to end birthright citizenship on hold.
That's a good one. Birthright. That's a big one.
Judge Kunauer, a Ronald Reagan appointee, called it blatantly unconstitutional 2 weeks ago when he issued a 14-day temporary restraining order. Washington and 3 other states, including the Northwest Immigrant Rights Project, argued the order violates constitutional law. Not to mention, it would render children born to immigrants without legal status stateless, citizens of nowhere.
We do not have a king. We have a president who must abide by the laws. And if they want to amend the Constitution, there is a process by which to do that.
The Department of Justice Deputy Assistant Attorney General Drew Ensign defending the executive order, arguing the phrase subject to the jurisdiction thereof in the 14th Amendment does not automatically grant citizenship to children of undocumented immigrants. He pointed to Elk v. Wilkins, where the Supreme Court ruled Native American tribes weren't under U.S. jurisdiction for citizenship until 1924, when Congress passed a separate law. Ensign argued the same should apply to immigrant children because their parents have allegiance to other foreign countries.
We currently have a president of the United States who lies to the American people with imperpetuity and has a complete disdain for the United States Constitution.
Matt Adams, legal director for the Northwest Immigrant Rights Project, who represents 2 pregnant Seattle women, insists the Trump administration has no authority to add requirements to birthright citizenship.
The language of the Constitution is clear. There's no room to change the interpretation.
He did, however, question why immigrants and their children are subject to criminal and tax laws and why undocumented men between 18 to 26 years old are obligated to register for the military service, meaning they could be drafted to fight for the U.S. in war if they're not subject to the jurisdiction.
The policy arguments are based upon this political rhetoric, basically trying to demonize the immigrant communities, to divide up our communities.
In a forceful ruling, Judge Kunauer reaffirmed the more than 150-year rule of the 14th Amendment, saying, quote, "To our president, the rule of law is but an impediment to his policy goals, something to navigate around or simply ignore. Under my watch, the rule of law is a bright beacon in which I intend to follow."
If we want to make that policy change as a country, then we should go through that process and have a debate in this country and not simply have a purported king signing executive orders.
The Justice Department is expected to appeal the injunctions. This case is likely headed to the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals. Over on the East Coast, though, Massachusetts case, along with 18 other states, that case is headed to court tomorrow. The ACLU's case will be heard on Monday. In Seattle, Alejandra Guzman, Fox 13 News.